What's up, you guys? I'm Drew Hernandez, and today with me on the Candid Conversation is my uncle Clark Frain. He's a chef in Grand Rapids, has started something pretty special, and that's why we're at a special location today. So go ahead and tell them what you do for a living and where you're established at.
Hi, Drew. This is Terra Bagels. We opened up a bagel shop in Easttown, and we're part of the family of Terra Restaurant. And I've been there for coming up on 4 years. Terra is 1429 Lake Drive. Terra Bagels is 1413, and we have a wax poetic candle shop between us. And we're at the corner of Lake Drive and Robinson Road.
Okay.
We're next
So,
to Aquinas College.
Yep, somewhere where I went to college, and I think that this kind of establishment, being a bagel place, pretty cool thing around this part because Easttown is a very locally driven area, and
the community in Easttown it's like no other. The response for both restaurants and the support that we've had throughout the pandemic, and we're just very fortunate to be in this neighborhood.
most definitely. Let's go into you being a chef. You've been a chef for how long now? Since
I was 15. So just a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah.
So you were 15 and you started out where?
Well, your mom, my sister, got me a job at Mr. Burger on Lake Michigan Drive. And I worked there for a couple years in high school. And then I worked my way up the ranks. I did a little bit of culinary school. I worked at the majority of the nicer restaurants in town. And I was with the Gilmore Collection for like 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did a stint in Holland on the lake shore at Butch's Dry Dock, and then I opened up an Italian restaurant downtown, and then shortly after that I made my way over to Terra.
How did your footsteps end up being with Terra, and that process, how did that come along?
Yeah, so again, a situation happened where the Italian restaurant that I opened up wasn't going to stay that concept. The family had decided to pivot to a different one of their flagships, and I knew that that wasn't going to be for me. And I had some special people, some close friends, some industry people. They suggested that I take a look at Terra. They knew that Terra was in need for a chef.
So being at Terra, you've been here for 4 years, like you just said. Just now, we're able to kind of start opening this Terra Bagels concept. Talk about that process, especially it being all very similar to time-wise with how COVID happened. Yeah,
so we started working on this in August of 2019.
Okay.
That's when the landlord or the building owner came to us. We did some research, obviously, as anyone would. We traveled a little bit. We tried other bagels in town. And then we took over the space in February of 2020.
Okay.
And we had ambition to open the doors at the end of May-ish. And,
right.
And then COVID happened.
Right.
And we hit pause hard in March. All of our focus had to go to Terra. We had to make sure that was sustainable and that was solid, and that we would come out stronger, which we are. And without a strong Terra, we wouldn't even be talking about bagels today.
Right.
And then finally, we could figure out some contractors to come in and do some of the great design work and help us get equipment ordered, and we had to deal with delays, and everybody's got some COVID stories, and these are just a couple hiccups that we had to go through. And then in end of August, I started hiring a staff, and we opened up to the public the Tuesday after Labor Day, so
Okay.
September 8th.
What made you choose bagels, basically?
Well, I mean, bagels is something that I love. My owner, Ken, he loves bagels, so this is a passion project for us for sure. It was also, you could only do so many options in this particular space too,
right.
Size-wise, but
Okay.
it fit right for us.
Pretty recently new to the game over here in
Yeah.
in Easttown, and
we're not even 6 months old.
Yeah.
We're Well, maybe we're not crawling anymore, but we've still got some baby steps to figure out.
So going back to you hiring a staff and bringing in a team, what qualities do you look for when you try to build a team?
Passion and work ethic. If you're going into the culinary field, you're already going to be looking at chefs that you want to emulate or learn from or follow,
right,
so to speak. If somebody comes in and wants to be a part of this, I need to know that they're passionate about bagels, for one, because you're going to get really sick of making bagels if you're not.
Yeah.
And two, I need to know that they have a good work ethic. The other things, those can be taught, those can be taught and learned, and you can acquire speed and fundamentals. But if you don't have the effort and the passion, then you've got problems.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, with any even going comparison to a sports team, it's
Sure.
you need that work ethic, that drive, that motivation in the instant to be doing what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I talked about in the training, in the hiring process.
Okay.
Like, look, I get that we're selling a $2 bagel and a $2 coffee, but what's going to make them come back? You know, and it has to be that interaction and that experience, whether you have a mask on or not. And in the restaurant industry, it's hospitality. So making somebody's transaction, their money spent, their interaction coming in, we want to make it seamless. We want to make it pleasant. We want to make it more than pleasant. We want to make it amazing. You know?
Right.
Is this a sit-down fine dining restaurant? No. But if they have a poor experience, are they going to go get bagels somewhere else?
Yeah.
For sure.
What you're doing here at Terra, what can you offer to the customer coming in? What are they going to get? What are they experiencing when they come in?
I mean, do you want to know what the popular items are, Drew?
Of course.
Okay.
Let the people know.
So besides that crispy hat that you're wearing, we do have some merch that's for sale. We have coffee, because coffee goes with bagels. We've got a great partnership with Ferris. And people ask me this too, and they're like, why did you choose Ferris? And it's not a financial partner, it's a business partner. They appreciate us, we appreciate them, but we're not a big company.
Right.
You know, this is a small bagel shop. We're an infant in the restaurant
Like
game.
you just said, 6 months old.
And they treated us in all of our meetings like we were the most important person in the room. We have the same morals and backgrounds about being a locally owned company and what we contribute to the community and what fundraisers we're in and what causes we're behind. And all of that was very important to us when we were looking at who we wanted to align ourselves with. You know, on top of the coffee, obviously we have 13 bagel varieties.
Okay.
We do gluten-free. We do an everything gluten-free. And all the classics, you know, your everything, your plain, sea salt. I tried to bring in a couple of interesting flavors. I don't want just to be like a cookie cutter New York bagel shop. Yeah.
Right.
I want it to be a great bagel. And yes, we boil them. And yes, you can compare them to New York, but this is West Michigan, but it's also us. So
Right.
we do interesting things like harissa smear or dukkha, which is like a seed blend, and we have to explain it, and that's great because we're engaged with the consumer or our guests, and they're like, oh, well, what is this, you know? And that's when we get to tell them about us, you know?
Yeah, like this is what our thumbprint we're trying to put on the bagel industry.
Yeah, and we'll be able to do that with changing our flavors and what we do seasonally, which is what Terra's all about. We do all of our own schmears. I'm really proud of our lox and our pastrami that we make both of those in-house, and those stack up great on bagels. I mean, we were able to do bagel sandwiches with that.
My personal favorite is the lock on the jalapeno.
Jalapeno cheddar.
Yeah, the jalapeno cheddar. That one to me that's what I come in and get. But I've been here a couple times and I change it up a lot, and sometimes I feel like every single time I get something new and I'm like, this is my favorite now. Oh, this is my favorite now.
People were asking it, like, are you going to do a build your... I'm like, no. I mean, like, you don't have to do that because you can literally mix and match...
all the time.
Any flavor schmear that you want on your bagel, like, every time you come in.
I've definitely noticed that my own personal self. As someone who has been in the food industry, when you have your night off, where is somewhere that you could go?
So when I've got free time and I'm looking to get out, I'm looking at two things. Me being a small business owner, I want to support others, and as a chef, I'm looking at chef-driven restaurants and things that change and menus that are seasonal. And there's a lot of great things going on. I like Butchers Union on the west side. I love Reserve downtown. I really respect that team there. There's a new chef in town, Paul, who's got Merton's Prime, and I'm excited to see what he does there as well.
What do you think sets Terra and Terra Bagels to be a little bit different, but at the same time similar?
We're really proud that Terra is a farm-to-table restaurant and that we support local, and we really love the fact that we make everything in-house. Like those things aren't, like that's the fiber of who we are.
What made you want to continue to be in the food industry? What drove you that way?
Growing up, I didn't see my parents fight often, but when they did fight, it was always about ingredients, what we had in the refrigerator, what we were going to be making for dinner. I loved hosting and going to family get-togethers, and for some reason they always seemed to focus or always lead into being in the kitchen and the conversations there, and it just really drew me to that. You know, it's also it's in our blood. Me being a chef, my grandfather, your great-grandfather, he had a restaurant in Muskegon, and he also cooked at Michigan State University. And one of my greatest memories growing up is watching James Bond movies with my dad, but in him pulling me aside into the kitchen and be like, hey, look, I'm going to show you how to make caramel corn from scratch. Like, make the caramel sauce.
Right.
Pour that cream in, watch it all bubble up, and then, like, pop the popcorn from scratch, too. And I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah,
You know?
so not even on top of the movie itself, but, like, having that experience of being able to see popcorn pop in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a game-changing moment for me.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure it is. So from being like someone who's driven from a family-oriented reasoning of why he wanted to become a chef, and how was it coming with this Terra family and company and transcribe into being able to open up Terra Bagels?
When I got to Terra, we had, if you're looking for a chef, then you've got some things to fix it in-house. And I knew that when I got there, I just wanted to, before I even talked about recipes or hiring or equipment, I wanted to talk about culture, and that was very important to me that we started off on the right foot.
Right.
In meetings and in staffing and hiring, and the way that we communicated to each other and treated each other, like that culture was very important to me. And it's something that, I don't waver on, and I brought that philosophy over here to the bagel shop as well.
So you're saying that that's what you wanted to establish right away is, all right, no matter our differences, we're not going to point the finger. We're gonna either rise together or we're going to fall together.
100%. And I spoke about that when I was hiring staff here. Our baristas, yes, they take payments and they pour coffees and they smile and say thank you, but they also have been trained to make bagels, and they also wash dishes, and being able to cross-train our staff here at the bagel shop, and it makes us more versatile, and it makes us stronger, and it keeps people engaged and learning.
I don't think we've touched base on hours of operation here for the business. Also, if they aren't right by Terra and Terra Bagels, where can they reach out to you from social media purposes?
Sure. So the bagel shop is open 7 days a week, and we rise up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We open at 7. My day starts much earlier than that. And then we close at 3. On the weekends, the bagel shop opens at 8. Terra has Mondays closed right now during COVID, and we'll look to add lunch later on when it warms up a little bit. Right now we're doing dinner service Tuesday through Friday evening, and then we do brunch on Saturday and Sunday, And then we also have dinner services on Saturday and Sunday as well. Brunch is kind of a big deal for us.
I know you've won some pretty big awards in Grand Rapids. I know you've gotten an opportunity to go on the Food Network. And I know that you're a very humble person and you're a very team-oriented person, that you don't want to make it seem like without them you couldn't have been where you are. Just about those experiences of being awarded what you were awarded and being on the Food Network, how could you explain it that way to someone?
So I've been fortunate to raise money, not just win awards for the
Right.
March of Dimes, and they have a few different prizes or recognition that you can win, and I've done well at some of those fundraisers, and those are competitions that I take them serious. When you have a signature chef auction and you've got a table of your peers, surrounded, and there's 500 people walking around tasting food, and you've got a panel of judges that are grading you on everything, presentation, flavor, the gamut. They talk about who's got the best booth, and those things are fun, and they're great causes, and we raise money, and if I can take home some hardware, that means something.
I know there's one competition you didn't do too well at.
Are you talking about Supermarket Stakeout?
Yes, the Food Network. I know you still did a really good job, and being able to be on the Food Network in a whole
I'll say it right here, right now. I was robbed. No, it was an amazing experience, and I was fortunate. It was a very good recipe of humble pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supermarket Stakeout on the Food Network.
With Chef Alex Guarnaschelli on Tuesday nights. Yeah.
You got a message on Instagram about that, and
yeah, they had sent me a DM and said, "Hey, Instagram page looks pretty good. Would you be interested in doing a show?" And I thought it was like a legit joke. Responded anyway, and then the person actually called, and we did a phone interview, and then it went to a Skype interview, and then I didn't hear anything for like 2 months. And then they reached out and they said, "We want you to be on the show." And I was like, "Oh, are you sure? Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yeah."
You got the right person?
So then they tell me, "Yep, we're going to fly you out this date. You're going to be filming in Los Angeles. We'll pay for your airfare." It is an awesome experience. I got to do the show with 3 other contestants that I still keep in touch with, and that we support each other. And it was fun. I mean, I got to be in California and experience all that for a few days.
That's awesome. The show itself, what you're doing is kind of self-explanatory in the title. You're staking out people to walk outside the grocery store, and you're bidding on a grocery cart that you might know what's in, what's not in there, and you try to make a food item for that. And your specialty hamburgers got chosen for your group, and
yeah, I can't believe I choked on burger night, but it was tough. I didn't get the pretzel bun like the contestant next to me.
Yeah, but I mean that like you said, I'm sure competition for raising money and competition for the Food Network. I mean, completely different things, but also something you learn more than enough from, I'm sure, to bring in just an experience-wise to the companies you work with and the things you're doing in Grand Rapids. Wouldn't you say so?
Anytime you can take those valuable experiences and apply them, some of the best things that I've learned have been from mistakes, and I think in life in general, people can learn from their mistakes, not repeating the mistake, but also to apply what could have been done differently.
Mm-hmm.
We take those kinds of measures in when we're coming up with dishes or recipes or, hiring and staffing and training, and, do we need this many people on Saturday morning, or do we need more?
Right.
Things like that.
Right.
Every day is different, and you can always apply things.
So what's an everyday for someone who wakes up and gets going?
Yeah, so that first alarm goes off at 2:45 in the morning, and about 7 alarms later, I am finally getting out of bed at about 3:05, and I'm walking into the shop at 4 a.m.
Jeez, that's an early morning.
Yeah, it's a little bit early. We get the water boiling because we boil out bagels, and it's so important that separates our bagels from our other competitors. Ovens are on. We've got coffee being brewed, and then we start processing our orders. We do very well with ordering ahead. Online orders do great here. People can go to like the website, look at the app, look at the menu. They can order online and like set the pickup time. It's so easy.
Oh, so even if I woke up at 7 o'clock and I'm like, I'm gonna get this.
At 9:15.
Yeah, let me go shower, get ready for my day, and then I can go grab it on my way to work, kind of thing.
It's literally what I do on my day off.
Terra Bagels in Easttown, off of Lake Drive.
1413 Lake Drive. You can find us at Terra Bagels on Instagram, at Terra Bagels on Facebook, at Terra Bagels on Twitter. Website is terrabagels.com. When you're on the Terra Bagels website, it'll link you to Terra GR.
So you get the best of both worlds kind of thing right there.
Yes, brother and sister, definitely.
Yeah. Shout out to Terra Bagels for the free merch.
Looks crisp.
It does. It looks good. Terra Bagels is doing some great things here in Easttown. Another local business, people who do great things with how they're running things. Definitely should come and check it out and support and see how things are really ran. Again, with me is Clark Frain, great chef in Grand Rapids. Everything will be in the description for their social medias and their time of hours and everything, and location. I'll make sure I keep that all on there for everyone to be able to reach out to them and whatnot. But thank you again for letting me get you on the podcast.
Thank you very much, Drew.
All right. Have a good day, everyone, and until next time.